What can be done when you have a perfectly good block with worn out lifter bores? We're going to show you right now here on Mike's Motorworks. For episode 2 in our big displacement small block build, we ran into, well, a slight little issue. As you guys have already known, and we covered on the first episode, the block has already been machined and is in great shape. It's been sleeved, yes, full sleeves on this guy in the cylinder bores, not just honed out, right? Not just the bores, it's been fully sleeved. It's been decked, it's been cleaned, it's been gone through the process at the machine shop, but as the final checks were being made, we found out there was a problem with one of the lifter bores. Let me show you what's going on and show you how we're going to overcome this problem. To get an idea of what our problem is, let's focus on this bore right here, all right? And so what I'm going to do here in a few moments is put a factory style hydraulic lifter inside of this particular bore. And you're going to see that something isn't quite right. Here we go. So I'm going to put that guy in there. And whoo, that was way too easy, right? So I got it snug back here. I'm just holding it up with my finger in the back. And now watch this. Up, down, left, right, so on and so forth. That's no good, ladies and gentlemen. What happened is that as this lifter is sitting inside, right, it spins, okay? It spins like this, riding the tops of the lobes on the cam itself. Obviously, this was a 1970s motor, so it was using a flat tappet cam, which is nothing wrong with a flat tappet cam, right? But it was spinning, and as it was spinning, it was wearing out the iron, okay? Now, the lifter material is a whole lot harder than the iron material. So it was getting some wear. How was it getting some wear in there? How was it wearing out the bore? More than likely lack of lubrication or something else. But we can imagine that this thing was making one heck of a noise when it was running. Now let's compare that to a good bore, and we'll show you that here. We'll go right next to it. All right. So notice how this is a little bit more difficult to slide in. It doesn't go in and slide in as easy, right? And if you notice, there is zero slop, zero play. The only thing moving is my finger, right? That is a good fit, all right? That's how it's supposed to go in there, not as sloppy as the other. So how in the world are we going to fix this? Well, it turns out that we got a good block here, so it's not worth trashing, okay? It's a 340 block, so they're sort of rare, and we've already put a good chunk of change with the machining and some other stuff that's been done for this particular motor, all right? We're expecting high horses out of this thing, so we want to make sure we do things the right way. Now, when we looked up various machine shops in our area, no one would even mess with these bores. So we had to find a solution. We wanted to make this right. And we stumbled across something in our grand scouring of the internet, and we'll show you that here. We ran across a machine shop based out of Michigan called Weidendorf Machine, and they supply this specialty tool just for this purpose, okay? Now, if you went to a regular machine shop, you would have the block sit on a system, right? And they would have a machine that would go in, bore the sleeves for you, and there you go, okay? You enlarge it, you put sleeves in there, or bushings, and that would take care of your situation. We don't have that, and we couldn't find one in the local area, and we're not going to ship this thing out and pay all that kind of expense or drive up to it. So this system allows us to do this at home, okay? Now there's a couple of caveats. You got to be careful with what you're doing, right? You want to make sure that you're being as precise as possible, because believe it or not, you're going to be using hand tools for this, right? So what you're essentially doing is you're going to take a reamer here, okay? And this reamer is set with different spots. Now this is taped for the first one for the oversized. We'll have to untape it for the other ones, right? But you run the reamer down into the sleeve itself, okay, or to the, into the bore itself, and then you slowly and steadily cut it, being really careful with which speed you are using your drill. Now, a standard drill isn't going to work for this process. So you're going to have to use something a little bit bigger, something like this guy right here, all right? Now, you don't want to run the speeds too high because they're not recommending more than 450 RPM, I believe, all right? And basically, you're going to be getting this into the hole, making sure it stays as lined as possible, okay? And driving it through the hole until the bushing can be set. And these bushings are just that. You could call them sleeves, you can call them bushings. That's fine. Either way you call it, it's a brass fitting that will go inside. Okay, and basically it'll need to be put inside the new bore that's drilled out. That way you have a place for your lifters. Now, the cool thing is that this, when all is said and done and bored out and what have you, should be the size of the lifter because that's how they're designed. They're matched, right? You slide the lifter in, boom, there you go. But how do you take care of oil, right? You got to get that taken care of. So we'll need to make sure that this has the proper sized hole in it, right? And we'll talk more about that when we get to that segment. But on that note, let's go ahead and get this started and let's see what's involved. Cross your fingers because you're going to be seeing us as we do this the first time. So we had success. I had it in time lapse thinking that the process would be a whole lot slower than it actually was. And you can see here that we had pretty good success with that first one on that as that's playing in the fast mode. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and do another bore. Now, we're not going to do it on the same area, the same cylinder. We're going to go to a different cylinder, allowing that other bore to cool down, okay, that other area, right? So as you can see, this tool fits the factory size to kind of get you lined up and as a guide. Then it's going to go to the second stage, then the third stage. So the idea here again is to keep that thing loose. So I get to be the spray guy on this one. And we're going to go ahead and get it set up and run this. And you're going to see this in real time. Now again, these bores that we're doing now are factory. So we only have to worry about making sure that things don't move on us, don't shift on us. Do we need to chuck those wheels? Do they lock?
They're okay. No, they don't lock.
Okay. All right. And let me give it an initial spray down. Don't go reverse. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. You're going to see some smoke here. That's normal. Easy. You'll notice that the debris is really filling in beneath that bit. Fingers. It's going. Coming in. Careful on the bottom. Towards the end, you want to have a good hand on it. Be careful with that trigger because it's going to want to catch on you. Nice and easy. There it goes. Do not go these in reverse. If you would have put it in reverse like a traditional wood bit, you will mess up the bit itself. So once you get it down, simply hand spin it out and then pull it out in the same direction you were going. So slight twisting and then pull out, and this gives you a chance to go ahead and clean up your area, check for any burrs and such. All right, I'm going to cover the lens real quick so you got a spray. Hang on. All right. Good, no burrs, no nothing. finger test is good. All right, so we're going to do this a total of, well, about 14 more times. So we'll check back with you here shortly when it's time to drive those bushings in. So right now, what Dad is doing is he is taking a moment to go ahead and just do a quick pre-wash on the block. Now, the block has already been treated at the machine shop, but you just saw that we got finished boring out the lifter bores to accommodate the sleeves or the bushings that will go in there. Now, because there was a lot of debris and filings that were created by this process, we're going to go ahead and give it a quick rinse. And if you're thinking, well, wait a minute, water and such don't necessarily mix on, and water and iron, that'll create rust, it's fine, all right? We're gonna make sure that all the oil and WD-40 and such is rinsed off. We're gonna use the old school technique of just hot water and Dawn dish liquid, dish detergent. And then, of course, we're going to make sure that every hole is thoroughly cleaned out and such. Now, again, this has already been hot tanked, but we're just going through our additional step here before we get with the rest of the build, because there's a lot of things coming around the corner. So Dad's going to be pretty thorough here in ensuring that all the ports, galleys, and such are thoroughly treated. And we're going to make sure that it is dried off thoroughly using a combination of compressed air and air drying. And then we're going to do some treating and get this thing ready for maybe even a coat of paint before all said and done, before we really get into getting the next parts done, which includes installing the bushings and installing the various bearings. So I'm going to put this thing in time-lapse mode, and we'll go from there. We're at the next step now. Now, the block hasn't been painted just yet. We are fresh from coming outside, allowing it to get dried out. And you can already see there's a nice film of rust or coat of rust already forming. That's part of the gig. It's an iron block. It's going to do that. So what we're going to do next is go ahead and take care of the bushing.